Hi, I'm Theo, and these broadcasts are to support the blogs on NoMoreSea.com's website as well as the online classes. In this episode, we continue Theo's guides with a Bible word study report in Logos 9. Welcome back to another broadcast. Today we want to look at how to do a word study. So I'm going to open up in Logos Bible Software, the English Standard Version of the Bible. So ESV is Bible of my choice. And I'm going to begin at Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In previous studies, we've already discussed in the beginning. And today we want to look at the phrase God. So if we just hover our mouse over God, it gives us a brief description. If we click on it with the mouse once, it's going to open up a fact book sheet on the English word God. And you can pursue a study of God, just like we did the atonement, following Heiser's 5-minute challenge, and spend 5 minutes in the Lexham Bible Dictionary and do a study that way through the English study, which is something you can do. But what is unique about Logos Bible Software, and I like, and Dr. Heiser has highlighted so many times, is that once you click on the word God, the reverse interlinear pops up down below, and you get all this information in the original language. So it doesn't disturb you up here when you're reading the text. And don't mind, I have this setup for my view, but it may be slightly different on yours. But when you look at this down here, you get the information, what's in the manuscript, and you get the English transliteration of that. You get the actual lemma and its English transliteration, because not everybody can do biblical Hebrew. The root word is there with the transliteration, the morphology, and you just hang over that, and it gives you the morphology. It'll give you Strong's, give you the biblical sense. There's all kinds of things it'll do here. So if you want to go into a Strong's search for it, the biblical sense is kind of nice. So you can kind of scroll over that, and it gives you from the Lexham Biblical Sense Database their basic understanding of how that word is being used in this sentence. And we'll get more into that in this study. So I wanted you to see this right off the bat. Then we can right click, and we have all these options. First, you need to go to the farthest left panel and then choose options here. And what you want to do with this word G-O-D in the ESV, if you want to just select it, if you want to select the entire verse, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, if you want to go through all these options, even the morphology or Strong's, do searches on, again, the Israelite God, God as a person, the event that's going on here at creation. You can go through preaching themes, all kinds of information on the side. But what we want to do is focus here on this option with a little circle, and I'll show you what that means. But this little circle here, and this is lemma, and it's been chosen because I often choose the lemma. So you have lemma here, and so you can choose the lemma on the left side, and make sure that you're getting the lemma. And it's right here on this line in our study, but you can't see it. It's blocked by the window. Now that you've chosen lemma on the left, you have all these options on the right. Okay. And you can do a fact book on Elohim, or how to pronounce it. You can export it to a slide. You can add notes. And you can do searches, do all kinds of things. But what we want to focus in on is the Bible word study. So the focus of today's video is to teach you how to do a Bible word study in Logos, but also we want to do a Bible word study on the word Elohim, the lemma, not God. Okay, I'm not selecting G-O-D. I'm going to the original biblical Hebrew language, and I'm pulling the lemma, which is if you were to look it up in a dictionary, what would it occur as in a dictionary? And again, you can search all these in lexicons and things. You could look it up in different lexicons and different dictionaries and things. So if you were to look it up in a dictionary, in a lexicon, which is basically the equivalent of a dictionary to look up a word in another language in their dictionary. So if you had a lexicon for Hebrew or classical Hebrew or biblical Hebrew and want to look it up, you would be looking up this that we often just pronounce as Elohim. And so we want to choose that lemma option, and we want to focus in again and click on Bible Word Study. Okay, and it's going to pull up the Bible Word Study report in Logos. Okay, and I'm using version 9. And right off the bat, it's going to give us the lemmas report. And obviously we have more. So all of your lexicons and dictionaries are going to be listed here. And you just keep clicking more and more and more. And you can see. Okay. Now, the word appears 2,597 times. Okay. So almost 2,600 times of this word appear. And this even gives you in Genesis, it appears 219 times. If we scroll down the next section, we have how the ESV, since I'm in the ESV, and I've chosen the ESV as my default Bible version, but I can change that in the settings here, which Bible I want. But in the ESV, we have the wheel that we had. Remember the circle? This is the translation circle. This is how it's translated. And I noted again, in the ESV, 2,597 times, and how it's translated, the various ways it's translated. The majority of those ways is God, capital G-O-D, God, and then the lowercase G-O-D, gods. So it's either G-O-D, God, as in Israel's God, the one true God, or another God, or other deities. That's the majority of the way it's translated, but there's other ways it's going to be translated here. Notice. You can do something with the root biblical census database and what census it happens to have. And so we're going to go through all of these, but I just want you to see this report. Again, you have more information here. Now, the total use of 2,681 times of the use, it's going to be understood 2,330 of those to be the Israelite God. And here's again a report on that, and even a listing of the verses. We have the lemma and how it's used, and all the verses that we see already in Genesis 1. It's referring to this primary being, the Israelite God. But that's not all. That's 2,330 of those 2,681 times in the Hebrew Bible. Now you have other times, 254 times, it's another deity. And again, I just hover over and I get a little note here on what we're talking about when we mean deity in the biblical sense database. Okay. Then we have it 73 times referring to a prophet. Interestingly, we have 16 occurrences of idol. We have a supernatural created being, as in the sons of God, and we can do more. And of course, again, Genesis 212, Exodus 16 times, Genesis 2 times this. So there are 2 instances in Genesis where it's used of another God, deity in general form. Prophet, it comes down later in the historical books. So 1 time in Deuteronomy, so 1 time in the Pentateuch. And so you get all these wonderful reports in Logos doing a Bible word study. When it's the subject of a sentence, when it's the direct object of a sentence, so you get example usages based on, what you're clicking through here. And again, you can switch between the English and the Hebrew, depending on your level of experience with those languages. So what we have here is under clause participants, ways that you can play with the grammatical roles and semantical roles within understanding how this word that we've chosen, Elohim, plays within. And each one of these has a description, and you can click on those descriptions and get more details. This is a very handy tool and guide that you can go down through and get even more use. They even map these out for you based on the preposition use. So it's mapped out for you. There's phrases the word appears in, and under those phrases is an example, a listing of kind of an idea of what it is, with a brief description that is, and then topical guides for the idea of the angel of the Lord, or the idea of theophany in relationship to this phrase. That you can even search. So you click on it, it's going to open you a search window, and you can search that phrase. So if you're doing a Bible word study on Elohim, but there's a phrase it's part of, then you come down to here, and underneath the phrases, you can search more for this topic. And you have angel of the Lord, the wrath of God, God the Holy Spirit. even Jesus, the finger of God, God itself, again, another fact book on God. And just look at all of these things that you, again, can go deeply into with all these phrases. Looking commentaries for the lemma in the passage there, you can open that window and it'll give you access to your commentaries. But finally is the textual searches where you can, now this is a biblical Hebrew term, elohim. And again, it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to get different counts at different places because, each of these are factoring in different aspects of the Hebrew Bible. So we have different manuscripts. So each of these are getting different databases. So down here, in this textual search, it's going to search the Hebrew text that I have chosen as my default. And the phrase, the term, actually, the lemma, appears 2,601 times in 2,248 verses in the Hebrew Bible. Interestingly, you can search the Dead Sea Scrolls that are the sectarian ones and even the biblical ones, and you can find the terminology and do some searching there. So this is pretty power-packed, what all you can do here. So I just wanted you to see all these options that are at your disposal, doing a biblical word study inside Logos, and all the information you'll get highlighted here. And that will help you grab some data points and look at all of this information. So much that'll help you grab some data points. So like I said, here was 2,597 times here, but at the bottom we were different, and even here were 2,681. So these are all based on different manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible, that different databases, and how those are all coming up a little bit different in the searches because it's searching different things. But at least you're going to get around 2,600 instances of this term. And from that, in this report, you're going to get an idea how it is used. And then even where, over here, it maps out where it's used in your Bible. Obviously, down here in the New Testament, there's not going to be anything because it's a Hebrew term. If we had chosen a Greek term, you will have a Greek term in the New Testament and a Greek term in the Old Testament if we choose the Septuagint and choose a Greek term. So you can see the power of using the Bible word study report inside Logos, and this is Logos version 9. And I love all these buttons. There's more. Look how many, places that you can look up this terminology. All these lexicons and dictionaries and other grammatical tools for you that you can look up, and all you have to do is hover over each one, and it'll give you the screenshot of just a basic entry at the beginning to give you an idea, do I want to go there for more? So you can kind of just scroll over one and then see what the basic entry point is into that item, and then go for it. And depending on your Logos library and the size of your library, each of these sections will change accordingly. So this is the power of the Bible word study. And, there's more that you can do with that. And all you have to do is either look it up on YouTube, or we're offering classes. Go to those classes and it'll teach you. We have Logos training videos that are all over the internet. Different people offer those. And they'll go more into detail on how to do a Bible word study. But I just wanted to do a really quick introduction for a Bible word study so that you can see that in Logos. Maybe I should have used the free version because some of the content I have here is going to be different than the content you may have because I have more options available to me than you have. So because I bought Logos and I bought some of these extra tools that may not be in your version depending on what you have purchased, and you may have more in yours than I have because you've been able to purchase a lot more, and then Logos will take in all of your items and create a much more profound report simply by virtue of you owning a lot more things in your Logos library. We will also include a link in the description where you can go for more information from Logos on how to do a Bible word study and some of their suggestions to get more out of Bible word studies. And so that's going to be up here in link, but you also have guides. So a Bible word study. Again, you have to choose one. We'll open it up there under the guide. And so there's many different ways to do guides, and there's these workflows. So if you follow workflows, there's an English word study workflow. There's inductive Bible study, so you can again original language. So here's a workflow, and you just have to start with the lemma, and then this word study guide will take you through steps. And in the steps, it allow you to even take notes and do wonderful things. I just wanted to give a basic overview. So there's much more. So check out the link in the description. Check out the word study. Enter your link. Just go here and copy your lemma, paste it in there. There it is, Elohim. Make sure you get the right one, the one you want, and you can go through. Here's all the steps 1 through 5, and they got individual steps along the way, and you just read these, go down, click on the mores, read these, hit the continue button, and it'll take you to the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. And this is a wonderful way to get you to explore. So these are some of the things that I want you to explore when you do a Bible study. And so hopefully your version of Logos comes with this. This is again Logos 9, and you can follow these steps and you can learn more about this word called the lemma in the biblical Hebrew, Elohim, and what it actually means. And that's the point of this video. We hope you've enjoyed our induction into word studies in Logos 9. Okay, so here we are in the demo version I use for my students. So this is going to be a little bit different than what you just saw, but I wanted you to see it. Genesis 1:1. This is going to open a passage guide, I believe. This opens up Genesis 1:1. The free version does not come with the English Standard Version, so you have the Lexham English Bible, which is Lexham, which is the company that works as one of the companies with under Faith Life, like Logos, that they produce things. Click on the word God. It's not going to open a fact book because that's an option in a paid version. But you are going to get down here the original language items of interest. You can still right click. You can still choose the lemma on the left panel and go over here to the Bible word study on the right. And you still can pull up the report and you get a Bible word study report. But it's going to be a little bit limited because Logos is a powerful program, and the free versions that I've introduced on this channel have quite a bit of functionality, amazingly. But you can see there's quite a bit missing too over the paid version. So there's not as many options in the Bible word study report that we saw previously. So you can see that there's quite a few things down here at the bottom that's missing. But you still get to search the Hebrew Bible, but you don't have the Dead Sea Scrolls. You don't have the Biblical Sense Lexicon. So that's something you would have to purchase to get those options. So it doesn't appear here. But you still get some functionality. I just wanted to show you. Now, this reverse interlinear is unique to Logos. There's no other Bible program that does that. But I just wanted to show you the free versions. Obviously, you have the King James Version. It also has a reverse interlinear. It does the same thing. Here's the American Standard Version. Those are both older versions of the Bible in English, and they both, though, have the reverse interlinear, which is remarkable. So I wanted to show you that aspect, that briefly, that you still get quite a bit of powerful options in your version of Logos. They do have more tools for those who are able to afford them. So, but this is still remarkable what you still can pull up. You still get the translation, how it's used in the translation, and you still get a lexicon that you can look up that terminology. So, for example, if you go to your library and you type in Lexham English Septuagint and open that, which I have opened here, it also has the reverse interlinear, but this is the Greek. So we have Genesis 1:1 I pulled up, and I right-click and do a Bible word study on God, but it's not going to be Elohim, and I'm not looking up the English word G-O-D, God. I'm looking up what is the original language behind that, and because this is the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, often called the Septuagint, it's going to pull up the Greek word and see I have a different report because I have 3 lexicons that are for Greek in my library that's free. And, I pull up now the Lexham English Septuagint, how it's translated, and it gives me more information about the Septuagint translation and which Hebrew words are substituted with the word, translated with the word theos as the lemma in the Septuagint Greek translation. So you're going to get some new textual searches because you got the Septuagint here, the New Testament, the Apostolic Fathers, even the Greek classics. So, I didn't want to leave you with the free version, being so limited. Well, in the Greek, you get quite a bit, obviously, in the free version. So if you have the academic one, so in the free version, as opposed to not having anything, this is a very powerful tool. Thank you very much, and God bless you for listening. Stay tuned for more episodes in videos to help you with your journey from nomorec.com.